preoccupations of this group was German folklore. Their enthusiasm for this subject resulted in von Arnim and Brentano's Des Knaben Wunderhorn, the youth's magic horn, a collection of folk songs and folk poetry of all kinds, the first volume of which appeared in 1805 and immediately became popular. The Grimm brothers were naturally interested in this, but not uncritically. Jacob wrote in a letter to Wilhelm in May 1809 of his disapproval of the way in which Brentano and von Arnim had treated their material, cutting and adding and modernizing and rewriting as they thought fit. Later, the Grimms, and Wilhelm in particular, would be criticized on much the same grounds for the way they treated their source material for the Kinder- und Hausmärchen. At all events, the decision by the Grimm brothers to collect and publish fairy tales was not an isolated phenomenon, but part of a widespread preoccupation of the time. The sources they depended on were both oral and literary. One thing they did not do was walk the countryside, seeking out peasants in their fields and cottages and taking down their stories word by word. Some of their tales were taken directly from literary sources. Two of the finest, The Fisherman and His Wife and The Juniper Tree, were sent to them in written form by the painter Philip Otto Runge, and reproduced by the Grimms in the Low German dialect Runge wrote them in. Much of the rest came in oral form from people at various levels of the middle class, including family friends, one of whom, Dortchen Wild, the daughter of a pharmacist, Wilhelm Grimm eventually married. After 200 years, it's impossible to say how exact their transcriptions were, but the same is true of any collection of folk tales or songs before the age of tape recording. What matters is the vigour and zest of the versions they published. The Grimm brothers went on to make great and lasting contributions to philology. Grimm's law, formulated by Jacob, describes certain sound changes in the history of Germanic languages, and the brothers together worked on the first great German dictionary. In 1837 came what was probably the most dramatic incident in their lives. Together with 5 other university colleagues, they refused to take an oath of allegiance to the new King of Hanover, Ernst August, because he had illegally dissolved the constitution. As a result, they were dismissed from their university posts and had to take up appointments at the University of Berlin. But it was the Kinder- und Hausmärchen for which their names are mostly remembered. Their first edition was published in 1812, and the collection went through 6 further editions, Wilhelm by this stage doing most of the editorial work, till the 7th and final one of 1857, by which time it was immensely popular. It shares its eminence only with the Arabian Nights. The two of them are the most important and influential collections of folk tales ever published. Not only did the collection grow bigger, the tales themselves changed as the 19th century went past, becoming in Wilhelm's hands a little longer, in some cases more elaborate, occasionally more prudish, certainly more pious than they were to begin with. Scholars of literature and folklore, of cultural and political history, theorists of a Freudian, Jungian, Christian, Marxist, structuralist, post-structuralist, feminist, postmodernist, and every other kind of tendency have found immense riches for their study in these 210 tales. No doubt they and others have influenced my reading and retelling in ways I'm not conscious of. But my main interest has always been in how the tales worked as stories. All I set out to do in this book was tell the best and most interesting of them, clearing out of the way anything that would prevent them from running freely. I didn't want to put them in modern settings, or produce personal interpretations or compose poetic variations on the originals. I just wanted to produce a version that was as clear as water. My guiding question has been, how would I tell this story myself if I'd heard it told by someone else and wanted to pass it on? Any changes I have made have been for the purpose of helping the story emerge more naturally in my voice. Conventional stock figures. There is no psychology in a fairy tale. The characters have little interior life. Their motives are clear and obvious. If people are good, they are good, and if bad, they're bad. Even when the princess in The 3 Snake Leaves inexplicably and ungratefully turns against her husband, we know about it from the moment it happens. Nothing of that sort is concealed. The tremors and mysteries of human awareness, the whispers of memory, the promptings of half-understood regret or doubt or desire that are so much part of the subject matter of the modern novel are absent entirely. One might almost say that the characters in a fairy tale are not actually conscious. They seldom have names of their own.